Thanks for staying with us. This is Newsline. I'm Michael Chagani, and I have Mr. Alan Zeman on the show this evening to ask whether the tycoons are happy about CY Leung running Hong Kong. Before the break, we were talking about whether the liaison office had a role in our chief executive election. Nobody really knows whether they had a role or not. As you said, it was widely reported. Yes. People tend to believe it. Anson Chan, the former chief secretary, said a couple of days back that the liaison office is now a second power center that's running Hong Kong, or that CY Leung has made it a second power center. Do you buy that?
You know, I would hope not. Obviously, it looks that way to many people at the moment because if you believe all the reports, if you believe the newspapers, some of the editorials, I would hope not. I hope, you know, CY has said very clearly he will uphold all the values of Hong Kong, everything that we have lived with all our life, that he said he will maintain that, he will uphold that. I would hope that we can keep one country, two systems. It would be pretty bad if we go to one country, one system at this point in our career, you know. So I believe that it's really up to him now to show the people of Hong Kong he must gain their confidence, and the only way he can do that is through proper leadership, through really showing all the people of Hong Kong, making them believe that he really believes it.
How?
As I say, by really examining. We have a lot of problems in Hong Kong at the moment. It's a very divided community. You've got the so-called tycoons, you have the middle, you have the poor people in Hong Kong. You need someone who can really look at each side and really understand housing has always been, for the last number of years, a huge problem here in Hong Kong. I believe every person has a fundamental right to live in a house, whether you're renting, whether you're buying, and the problem when you have to move, keep moving because rents keep going up or you can't afford to buy a house, it destabilizes a family, it destabilizes an individual. That is something that we need to, the chief executive needs to get his head around and really attack that problem firsthand, because if you can put a roof over everybody's head and create stability for the people of Hong Kong, they'll be happy. They'll love the chief executive. And so it won't be about who put him there or how he got there or whatever. We've got problems that need to be solved, bigger problems than the process of getting him there. So I believe that we need to look into the future, and really it's up to the chief executive to fix that.
But, you know, fixing that, you know, like Singapore's done it, you know, give everybody a home, everybody's happy, but that's a trade-off. Then you don't have as much free speech or freedom of expression or democracy as other places.
But it doesn't,
is that a trade-off for you?
But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're taking away freedom of speech. If everybody has a house, there is a way, an intelligent way, by sitting down with, I believe the government in the past has miscalculated. They are the ones that got us into this mess, this problem. And I believe that by miscalculating on the mainlanders coming in to buy property here and how many, 40%.
That was wrong?
And that was wrong. And that was wrong. Well, they have a right to come in and buy, but I think in the calculation on how much land was being put on the market, I think that's where the inequality came about. And I think it's important that we need to get that right. We need to
stop mainlanders from buying.
No, not stopping mainlanders. No, not at all. What I'm saying is that it's important that we sit down and work out how much land needs to be put on the market, how many houses need to be built, how many mass market is there, how many poor people, how many renters, how many HOS, all the different systems. You know, I don't worry about the houses on the peak. Those, you know, those people can always afford. Those people can always afford whatever the price is. But I worry about the middle and the poor people. That, to me, caged homes in a place like Hong Kong today.
That shouldn't even exist.
It shouldn't exist. It's an embarrassment to Hong Kong. So these are things I think that need to be addressed immediately, and he needs to put a very strong team together in order to examine these problems and come up with solutions.
But you know, that's interesting, Alan, because you can do all those things. The current political structure in Hong Kong maybe prevents those things from happening because the people, as you say, don't have a say. Now, the election, a very bitter election, has changed Hong Kong's political culture. I think everybody agrees that that has happened. You now must end, as you've said, the small circle election. You voted in that election as one of 1,200 people. I couldn't vote. That in itself was not fair.
Absolutely.
Right? So is it time now that we move towards full democracy?
I believe that's the only way we can solve a lot of these marches that are happening every week, every weekend. I believe that we must move to full democracy. People in Hong Kong should have the right to elect the candidate of their choice in a free and proper way forward. And I think only then will people be comfortable with the candidate that is up there, and then have the ability, if they don't like who it is, have the ability to get rid of him or her. I think that's very, very, very important, and that's why leading up to 2017, it's important for this chief executive. That's why I was so adamant during the election that the next 5 years are crucial in Hong Kong's history, because hopefully we'll have a balanced or a proper universal suffrage and a form of universal suffrage. But we need to get there. We've been promised that, but how, what's the method, how, we need to discuss all that. And this is where you need to put strong people together. It's vital. The other thing that I think is very important, getting back to another point for CY, is he must put a cabinet together very quickly, because civil servants, I'm very close with many of them, there's a lot of unrest within the civil service at the moment.
You know this for a fact?
Well, because they're nervous about, will I have my job? Am I going to be the next CS? Am I going to be the next FS? Am I going to be a minister? You know, these are things that we need to get beyond that, and it's very, very important. I know it's only a few days since since the election, but I think that it's important that he acts as quickly as he can to really get stability in the civil service, because that is crucial to Hong Kong's future.
Well, you talked about full democracy. You can elect your chief executive in 2017. Do you think the central government will allow a system under which there is a true freedom to elect the people's choice? Because the democracy camp is saying that's not going to happen. There will be a screening process, and the people who are unfriendly to Beijing will be screened out.
But, you know, that's 5 years from now, 2017. And I believe that China is changing very, very rapidly, much quicker than Hong Kong is changing. And I'm hoping that by the time we get closer to 2017, the powers that be will have a trust in Hong Kong, will have faith in Hong Kong, and understand that people here are very civilized, people here are intelligent, and we can make the right decision, and we can elect someone that will not hurt China and will not destabilize China. I mean, that is the key with China. To understand China, you need to understand one word. It's called stability. China will do whatever possible to keep a stable China, which is important for the world. And it's important that Hong Kong is stable for them. And so I can understand their wanting to kind of sometimes...
What's there not to trust about us?
I think it's I think their system is changing quickly, very, very quickly as well. And I believe you can see they even had some elections in Wuhan just recently. So I believe that I'm hopeful that by 2017 there will be more relaxed, and hopefully we will have a universal suffrage system whereby they will have some form of a bit of control, but yet relax on the other side, and hopefully maybe even Democrats will have a chance, if they have the right candidate, to really have a chance to be elected as well if the other two candidates or three
You
candidates,
see that
whoever else.
happening?
I'm hoping, and I think we're, and if it's not 2017, I'm hopeful that within the next 10 years we might get there, because I see the changes taking place in China, and I can see they're also heading in the right direction. And so I believe that at some point there will be a meeting of the two places.
But, you know, I've just got a couple of minutes left here. Let's go back to Siwa Leung. He is our new chief executive,
Yes.
and you said, rightly so, that everybody should give him a chance. He is now the
Yes.
chief executive of Hong Kong. But many people still don't trust him.
Yes.
You know, Anson Chan said
Yes.
this a few days ago. The Democratic Party says they just don't know what he's like. Anson Chan, I think a week or so ago, called him a chameleon.
I know. I know.
You know Siwa Leung for
Yes.
many years.
Yes, I
He's
do.
been on this show
Yes.
several times, most recently just about a month or so ago. Tell me, from your perspective, as a longtime friend of
Yes.
Siwa Leung, why people don't trust him?
You know, well, you've heard the monikers, I don't know, I forget,
That's
I wasn't there.
Siwa Leung is saying
Yes,
that
I wasn't
every time
there.
you throw something at him, he says, I don't know, I don't remember.
You know, I think once you're a politician, I think you have to get rid of those sayings, and I think it's important for CY at this point. You mature on the job. He's only been there. Well, he hasn't even taken July.
Well, exactly.
1st.
It's not even-
And
it's
so
not
it's
3
not
months.
even. It's not even up 3 months. But I believe that he has the ability, if he's clever and if he surrounds himself with the right people, he will have the ability to mature as a politician and really gain the hearts of the Hong
But
Kong
he
people.
said, when he was asked whether the liaison office had got support for him,
Yes.
he said, I don't know what your question is.
Yes.
I mean, everybody knows that the liaison office did something.
Yes, I don't agree with his answer, and I think that hopefully, as he gets more seasons on the job, I believe that he will have the right answers for people, and then people will start to trust him. You can only be positive.
Well, okay, let's hope so. See you next week. Good evening.